Before every town had the same golden arches, our highways and main streets were a wild west of different burger joints, pancake houses, and hot dog stands. These weren't just places to eat. They were the backdrop to our road trips and our Friday nights. Today, we're taking a trip back to remember the forgotten fast food chains that time and progress left behind before the Big Mac was king. There was a battlefield of burgers. These were the chains that dared to challenge the giants, and for a little while, some of them were winning. Burger Chef, do you remember the pure, unfiltered joy of getting a toy with your meal? Long before the Happy Meal became a global phenomenon, there was the Burger Chef Fun Meal. It wasn't just a burger and fries in a box. It was an adventure. I remember getting a little plastic puzzle or a comic book, all tucked into special packaging. For a kid back then, that wasn't just lunch, it was an event. Burger Chef was a titan, once McDonald's fiercest competitor, with over 1,200 locations. They even introduced the Works Bar, where you could pile on your own toppings. But poor management decisions took their toll, and the Burger Chef name slowly faded from our roadsides. Henry's Hamburgers. When you think of fast food giants, McDonald's probably springs to mind first. But there was a time when Henry's Hamburgers had more locations than the Golden Arches. Founded by an ice cream company, Henry's exploded across America with a simple model: sell delicious 10-cent hamburgers and watch the money roll in. At its peak in the early 60s, Henry's had over 200 locations. Their menu was refreshingly simple, just straightforward, tasty fast food. But what happened? In one word, drive-thrus. While Henry's was perfecting car hop service, McDonald's was pioneering the drive-thru window, and customers, it turned out, preferred the speed and privacy. Ginos Hamburgers. Football and fast food might seem like an odd combination, but it proved to be a winning recipe for Ginos Hamburgers. Founded by Baltimore Colts defensive end Gino Marchetti, this chain brought star power to the burger business. Who could resist a burger endorsed by your football heroes? The chain expanded all through the East Coast. Their signature sandwich, the Gino Giant, gave the Big Mac some serious competition. What made Gino's unique was the blend of sports culture, with restaurants decorated with football memorabilia. The success story came to an end in 1982, when most locations were converted into Roy Rogers restaurants. Red Barn. You didn't need a map to find a Red Barn restaurant. You just looked for the actual barn. In a stroke of marketing genius, Red Barn built their restaurants in the shape of bright red barns. Their signature burger, the Big Barney, arrived years before the Big Mac. And for those with a bigger appetite, there was the Barn Buster. I can still hear their television jingle in my head. When the hungries hit the Red Barn. Despite its clever concept, Red Barn suffered from poor management, and by the mid-'80s the chain had all but disappeared. These weren't just places to grab a quick bite, they were destinations, a place to sit down, slow down, and make a memory. Howard Johnson's. The distinctive orange roof and turquoise spire of a Howard Johnson's restaurant was once as much a part of the American landscape as a white picket fence. It's hard to believe now, but Hojo's was the largest restaurant chain in America for decades. Their claim to fame wasn't speed, it was variety and quality. And of course, their legendary 28 flavors of ice cream. My family used to stop at a Howard Johnson's on every single road trip. The memory of sliding into one of those orange booths is a cherished piece of Americana for me. But as the new interstate highways were built and faster food joints popped up, Hojo's sit-down model became increasingly outdated. Lums, hot dogs, steamed in beer. If that sounds like something invented by a college student at 2 in the morning, you're not far off. But this odd cooking method became the foundation for Lums, a casual restaurant chain that grew to over 400 locations. Their beer-soaked hot dogs became so famous that people would drive for miles just to try one. The restaurants had dark wood paneling and a cozy, pub-like atmosphere. The beginning of the end came when the founders sold the company to the owners of Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. The new owners knew casinos, but they struggled with restaurants, and the chain slowly collapsed. Samos, before there was an IHOP or Denny's on every corner, Samos dominated the breakfast scene in America. Starting as a single pancake house, this chain exploded across the country, reaching over 1,000 locations. Their formula was simple: affordable breakfast, served all day, in a family-friendly atmosphere. But the name, Samos, became a huge problem. Many Americans associated it with the controversial children's book, Little Black Sambo. As the civil rights movement gained momentum, the name became increasingly toxic. The company filed for bankruptcy in 1981, its downfall a complex story of a problematic name and expanding too quickly. And finally, let's remember the places that were just different. White Tower. If imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, then White Castle should have felt extremely flattered by White Tower. This copycat chain didn't just borrow ideas. They essentially photocopied the entire White Castle concept, from the small square burgers right down to the building's castle-like design. The audacity worked for a while. White Tower expanded to over 200 locations, but White Castle wasn't amused, and they sued for copyright infringement. The court ordered White Tower to change its design, and that, combined with changing food trends, started the chain's slow decline. Dog N Suds. Nothing captures the carefree spirit of 1950s America quite like a drive-in restaurant. And Dog N Suds perfected the formula. This chain specialized in two American classics, hot dogs and root beer, served directly to your car window by car hops, often on roller skates. At its peak, over 600 Dog N Suds locations dotted the American landscape. It wasn't just the food, it was the experience. The car hop would attach a metal tray to your car window, and you could enjoy your meal without ever leaving your vehicle. As drive-in culture faded, so did Dog N Suds, though a handful of them still survive today. Minnie Pearl's Fried Chicken. And finally, what happens when a famous country comedian lends her name to a fried chicken chain? In the case of Minnie Pearl's Fried Chicken, you get one of the most spectacular flameouts in fast food history. This chain opened over 500 locations in just 2 years, an insane rate of expansion. The business plan was simple: capitalize on the success of KFC with a celebrity endorsement. But what went wrong? Practically everything. The recipe wasn't standardized, so the chicken tasted different at every restaurant. And the company's accounting was so messy, they were charged with stock fraud. By 1971, the company had collapsed, a spectacular failure so infamous that business schools still study it today. From beer-steamed hot dogs at Lums to the 28 flavors of ice cream at Hojo's, these weren't just restaurants. They were a part of our history. They are gone now, but the memories and the flavors remain. What's the one forgotten restaurant from your past that you wish you could visit just one more time? Let us know in the comments below. And if this trip down memory lane made you hungry, please give it a like and subscribe for more.